Hello everyone, this is Sleepy Robot, and I'm sleepy because I stayed up all night playing Elder Scrolls Legends and making a little map, or working on a map project anyway. But that's not the topic of this video, I'm just letting you know why I might be just a little bit low energy today. So this is the Achilles Heelvy. This terrible tactic was suggested by our friend McGamerson on my Steam group. The link to have a look at my Steam group is down in the description, is what it's called, and basically it's in the name, Achilles Heelvy. That is having a major weakness while being healed, and the major weakness is melee damage. But to offset it, you're pretty much invincible to all other forms of damage. So we're using the Fists of Steel with the Vaccinator. And the Fists of Steel already have a massive damage resistance to all range sources. But combined with the Vaccinator's also enormous resistance. I know the resistances don't stack like additively, I think it's multiplicatively, if that's how you pronounce that word. But as you can see, I'm taking way more damage than anyone ever deserves to, and finally taken out by the shield charge. To finish off this loadout in the secondary slot, I'm rocking the buffalo steak sandwich, and it's just perfect. I mean, without it, enemies will just constantly kite me forever, and although it gives me a massive damage weakness, the resistances of the Fists of Steel and the Vaccinator more than make up for it, and the weaknesses only add to the whole Achilles Heel style of the loadout, where you're even weaker to melee attacks. So basically the idea is I'm a melee fighter that can't fight other melee fighters, so basically your ability to live just depends on whether your enemies are willing to bring out their melee weapons or not. Although if you're clever enough, you've got that movement speed from the stake, you can, outmaneuver them and kill them if you do it quickly. But I was getting wrecked by the melee a lot. I think a lot of these deaths were cut out. Man, so many Demo Knights and other Fists of Steel heavies as well. It was really funny. It actually kind of annoys me, like, the moment there's Fists of Steel heavy, you see enemies going Demo Knight, enemies going melee classes, but the thing is, like, if there was a Sentry nest, you would never see people switch on over to the direct hit or the lock and load as frequently. It's just really weird how, like, the massive non-threat, the Fists of Steel heavy, gets counter-picked, but, like, massive Sentry nest, oh no, I'm just gonna stay scout and not worry about that. Although, yeah, I guess I'm guilty of that too. And once again, we can see Pyros ruining everything. I only allow myself to pull out my minigun when fighting Sentries and when fighting Pyros, because Pyros just ruin everything. I say this in like every terrible tactic, but all they do is knock you back with Air Blast and ruin your day. So what I decided to do to fix that was just, shoot them with my minigun. When you use the Fists of Steel for enough time, the enemy just sort of starts to lose respect for you and don't really care. They kind of forget that you can do 500 damage per second close range when you do decide to pull that minigun out, so you can get a few good surprise kills, but that's not exactly what this terrible tactic is about now, is it? These first few games on Egypt, we were getting completely steamrolled, but don't worry, it gets a little bit easier for us later on. Now, one thing that's really interesting about this loader is I feel like it makes Heavy a true tank, and what I mean by that is, sure, Heavy's 450 health while overhealed is a lot in a game like TF2, it's still not that much in terms of the amount of damage classes can put out. I mean, even Soldier can make it up to 300 health, even more with a battalion's backup. So Heavy, while he's referred to as, like, the tank that soaks up damage for the team, he kind of can't really do that like a tank traditionally would in a game like TF2, although TF2 is sort of unique. But when I slapped on this loadout, Heavy became a true tank. That is, he was able to soak up just an untold amount of damage, but at the same time his own damage output and mobility was pretty lacking. And it was pretty interesting to be able to just run into a crowd of people, heavies firing point blank, and just be completely fine. I mean, you could always do that with Uber Charge, but Vaccinator is just a little bit easier to get than Uber Charge, so you can, go in and take risks a lot more often. It's actually one thing to consider. I know a lot of people want to give Heavy some sort of primary, like some sort of riot shield that gives him resistances that lets him play shotgun Heavy more effectively, but I was thinking, okay, Heavy can already tank just an enormous amount of damage with this combo. Like, how much more could he do if he had some sort of, like, proper shield he could use while running around with his primary or secondary? I guess you could just limit it to shotgun only, but it's something to think about. I mean, this loadout obviously isn't meta, it's not threatening, but it could be kind of game breaking if you're able to push the resistances a little bit further. It's lucky they stop kind of where they are, although, if you're a soldier, if you're a demo, even a heavy in a tight corridor, like, what are you going to do against this heavy? Unless you pull out your melee and get a lucky crit, which will hit me just for an insane amount of damage. It'll be doubled and then increased by the damage weakness of the buffalo stake. But other than that, I mean, you're just completely screwed. It's the ultimate one-on-one winner, in my opinion. But, as we know, spies don't like to play fair now, do they? The resistances of my gloves and the Vaccinator, plus the speed boost of the Buffalo Steak, allowed me to get out of some really sticky situations, but there are some that are just too ridiculous. It was such a massive struggle to just take down this level 2 sentry. The knockback was so intense, and as soon as I did, there was another level 3. I thought that was just really funny, like, going through all that only to be mowed down by a second sentry. And there we have it. It was really cool to check out Heavy in this more kind of disruptive, proper true tank role. There's no real kind of tank class in TF2 that does it like this. I mean, the closest is Demo Night, but it was really fun trying it out, even if it was totally unviable and totally ineffective. Anyway, that's all I got you for right now. I'll catch you next time. I can't think right now.